Okay, now we're on to exercise 3 of Frederick Noad, first book, part 1. And I'm going to play it slow. I'm playing your part, and then I'm going to play your part faster, and then the teacher's part slow and fast. Okay, jumping right into it. All right. 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Start with M, M, I, M. Okay, now a little zippier, quite a bit zippier. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. 'Okay, now the accompaniment part slow. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to do it faster. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you have trouble getting that fast, you're going to be playing. Then don't worry about it. Try to, actually, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can slow down the YouTube a little bit in the settings under, where the little wagon wheel settings thing is, and you can slow the tempo down a little bit. So it kind of sounds garbly, but it's something you could do. And but don't worry about it if you can't play it on the faster version. At least you've got something to work up to. You could take a metronome, and you can get free metronome apps. I've got an app on my laptop that I use all the time, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a free app that And you can set it to different speeds and then gradually get it up to speed. So now with this one, this is more challenging in that it's a much longer melody, and we want to think in phrases. A phrase in music, one student described to me a phrase as what a singer would sing in one breath, or a sax player would play in one breath. That's true. It's sort of like a sentence. It's like a complete idea with a punctuation at the end. And the end of each of these phrases ends with either one half note or two half notes. So, and they're four measure phrases. So if you look at the first four measures, what I'd like you to do is take a pencil and draw an arch from measure 1 to the end of measure 4, and you see that it ends with a half note, and that's sort of like putting a period or an exclamation mark or whatever you want on the. Sometimes a phrase will end with a question, and then the next phrase kind of answers that question, and that's true. But in this case, it just sounds incomplete. Well, it sounds kind of complete within itself, but then the B section, the B phrase, is sort of a contrasting thing. So the first phrase is 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, period, right? And be careful about the spacing on that fourth measure of your part. You'll see that the first two quarter notes are wider apart than they are in the other measures. That does not mean that you hold them longer. The spacing of notes on a page has to do with the logistics of getting both parts together. And the reason why there's more space between those first two quarter notes is because there are two eighth notes in the teacher's part below it. And so each beat has to match up. And there needs to be more space for the two eighth notes in my part. So the spacing of notes on the page has nothing to do with how fast you play. It's the quarter notes are one beat, the half notes are two beats each, like that, and that's it. Sometimes in early music, like if you look at facsimile of Renaissance music, you'll see really long notes all squished together on the page, like the measures are only that far apart. And it's because paper was at a premium. You know, you wouldn't waste paper by having, you know, a whole note ringing for 4 beats with a measure that wide. You crunch them all up together. And in the same way, if you're writing a letter to someone, they're not going to read it, you know, faster if you put the words together closer, or read it slower if you spread out the words. And you want to make sure that you're not thinking that way when you're looking at your part and reading it. Okay, so enough of that. So so now all Noad gives you is the first two measures of the alternating M, I, M, I, M, I. You want to continue and write M, I, M, I, M, I, M on above each note. Make sure you write out your alternations. Now the B phrase starts in measure 5, and you'll have two measures of the B phrase in the first line, and then it ends on the second line. Draw a phrase mark and continue it to the next line. And the B phrase, the alternating, is going to be I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. Then the next phrase is exactly like the first phrase. So we'll call that A again. And at the end of the B phrase, if you remember, the last two measures I went I, M, I, M, I, M. I'm going to start the A phrase with M twice in a row. So it's M, I, M. I end the B phrase with M, and start the A phrase with M. So you'll do M twice. It's okay to do like the beginning of a phrase with the same finger, with the same finger that you ended the last phrase. That's perfectly okay. It's like taking a breath and you're starting a new section, and you can use the same finger twice. Normally we wouldn't go like M, M, I, M. We would alternate fingers. But if it's the end of a phrase, and if there's a reason to use the same finger to start the next phrase, then we'll do that. So that's why we do that. So that's basically all I need to talk about with exercise 3, and we're going to go right into exercise 4, which is challenging in different ways. See you there. John Hedger Guitar Studio. Subscribe. Facebook page. Like.